Okay. So then, of course, the fundamental question becomes, if I am the universe and so are you, then do I have any control over anything? What about reality? What is real? I'm going to put it to you in terms of perspective. Right now, you listening to the sound waves that make up the language and the ocean sounds and all of that, and watching the video, which is the visual code, all of that is experiential. All of that you are experiencing through the perception of your senses. It's your perspective, okay? And even that perspective is slightly altered because I'm using a camera to record this. So it's not like you're experiencing it naturally firsthand through your senses on a one-to-one basis. So even this, without a filter, without any kind of enhancement, is still altered slightly, even more, just because I'm using a camera to record it. Your reality is subjective. While you are an energetic being of light and shadow and color and intention, ultimately a piece of art, you dwell within a physical frame. You have a corporeal existence. Think of it as school. Think of it as the universe gave you a classroom, and it is corporeal existence. Through that classroom, you are going to learn and experience this thing that we call life in a very real sense, in a very physical sense. You can feel it. Like, you get that? You can feel stuff, because we understand that when we feel something, it's not always physical. Sometimes it's a metaphysical feeling. Life, this process of corporeal existence, is school. It's a learning ground for you to experience through your sensory input the universe and come to some understanding about some universal truths. So reality, as you know it, is entirely subjective. What does that mean? That means that for you, the universe and everything in it is slightly different than the universe is for the being that exists immediately in the space next door to you. Because you are a lowercase I. You are an individual. You have a consciousness. And in corporeal form, your reality is defined through your sensory input. And your sensory input is individualized. And you choose, get this, here's where it gets really fun. And this is where the gurus, this is where they like to tell you, this is the big secret. This is the truth. This is the secret that nobody wants you to know. This is the gospel that was written out of the Bible, because, oh my goodness, if people knew this, the church would lose all power. Government would lose all power. It would be like Imagine by John Lennon, and the world would be as one. And the powers that be, they really don't want that to happen. But me, I think Imagine by John Lennon, I think that's about the ultimate message and the ultimate code of the universe. And I very much want that to happen. I very much want to get rid of possessions. I very much don't want your money. I very much don't want fame. I don't want any of those things. I want us to be together And when I say, I tell a friend of mine, we thrive. I tell her I take the me and I turned it upside down and I made it a we. And for me, when I say we thrive, I mean universally. I mean all of us. I mean as a global consciousness, as a universal species, we thrive. All of us. So, like, I want to share this message with you. I don't want anything in return. Reality is subjective. And once you become consciously aware that every second, every moment, you are being bombarded with more sensory information than you could possibly comprehend, and you are choosing, your brain chooses for you what is important and what it's going to bring to your conscious level of thought. Well, once you know that, once you're aware of that, then you're conscious of all of it, of every bit of it, of all the sensory input. And you can choose. That's the secret. Once you become conscious that reality is subjective, and every bit of information that comes into your senses is something that your brain chooses to convey to your conscious level of thinking, once you gain that control, once you take that power, once you choose what becomes a conscious thing, well, then you can manifest. And then you can take control. And then your freedom of choice, that comes into play. And that's all consciousness is. At its fundamental level, consciousness is freedom of choice. On the particle level, on the galaxy level, the universal level, the lowercase I individual level, consciousness is freedom of choice. I choose to do this. I choose to acknowledge this. I choose to pay attention. I choose to act with intention. That's it. That's the secret. That's the thing that they're all gonna tell you at their seminar. And guess what? I never had to go. The universe taught me. The teachers that came before me taught me. I just had to listen to them. The message is there. The message exists. Universal truth. I am. There's an uppercase I. There's a lowercase I. It's all the same thing. Yeah, we'll save that for another video. Have a good night, you guys. Gonna take a break now. I hope you enjoy the sun and the ocean and the waves, and maybe you learn something.